Hey guys, welcome to our house, and we wanted to talk a bit about what happens when you're facing a challenge that seems to be related to you have a missing nutrient, something that the family needs but it's not getting. So one example that happened for us is that April instituted a morning family meeting.
Something I noticed was missing with our kids was as they get older and they start to head to different directions, it was hard to keep everybody on the same page. I wanted the kids to know what was going on in each other's worlds, like, hey, this sibling has a test today, or this sibling is trying to get their driving hours, or whatever the situation, whatever was going on with that kid. And it seemed like the best time we could get everyone in the same room at the same time was in the morning. And so we were able to, before we all split off for the day, meet just for 15 or 20 minutes. And we were able to, I also was like, I need to start off the day calmly with my kids. And so sometimes I would like play a worship song during that time, and the kids and I could just, I'm like, I just want you guys to be encouraged as you head into your day. Sometimes I would pray over them. Sometimes it was like logistical, okay, you have the car, or we need you to make sure that don't forget to come back for your sister, or whatever kind of thing going on. But just the idea of the challenge, like noticing there's a challenge instead of sitting in it and just being like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is awful. Like being proactive and thinking, oh, I could do something about this. I might have to get creative, and it might be something we've never done before, and it might be something we have to introduce to the kids. But we can grab a hold of this missing element, this missing nutrient. I want us to be connected as a family, and so we have to fight for that because everything around us is like really pulling against that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the missing nutrient piece.
Yeah, so that's a big deal, guys. If you figure out that there's something that just, sometimes the diagnosis of the challenge is just something's missing in our rhythm, we need something to fix that. Even what April's describing, for those of you guys who don't have kids, I think one of the easiest things to neglect when you're married without kids is the business side of the family team. So you might, enjoy each other and have opportunities to go on date nights and really get to experience the fun side of marriage. I hope you really are leaning heavily into that. But sometimes that can mean that you don't really take care of the business side. That's what we like to call it, or kind of the logistics. So if you're thinking about maybe that's a missing nutrient, that's another example. But these are really important to identify and then to creatively come up with solutions together that help solve that. What's up, guys? So we want to talk about how important it is to work as a team to overcome family-wide challenges. And here in the background, you'll see there's Jackson, our son, and then Clayton, my nephew. Can you take us on a tour through your nautical awesome and through? That's pretty awesome. So Clayton's moving in the next couple of days, and so we wanted to rally around this move, and Jackson's been kicking it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So when we have family-wide challenges, what's a good way, if you're encouraging people? A lot of times, we just sort of say, all right, whoever's one person, do your best or something. But what does it mean to like really get behind and try to solve a challenge like this as a team?
It goes faster, and it's a lot of fun. Clay and I were just saying we're having a lot of fun moving in because it's like we get to build. It's almost like we're building something, like creating it. So yeah, and there's actually a lot that goes into a room, like the atmosphere that you try to create and the vibe. So yeah, we're doing it's a lot of fun to do it together.
Jackson's a master at room design.
That's right.
So anytime we need rooms figured out, he has spent a ton of time thinking through
how they should be cleaned and like what they should look like and stuff like that, or like what they're going to be used for. So yeah, we have a whole. You want to take a Charlie Brown?
Ooh, Charlie Brown. What's going on down here?
He's got a whole little Charlie Brown collection.
So my dad grew up obsessed with Charlie Brown, and he has successfully passed it on to the next generation, his grandson Clayton. Awesome. So it's important you guys rally around any challenges that are more family-wide, figure out ways to do that more together, and obviously it's a lot easier, but it also helps you be more of a team. Hey guys, so one of the kind of challenges you're going to face is like when a personal crisis affects one member of the team more than the others. And so it's really challenging to figure out how do you rally around that person and make sure that they don't feel alone and that they are being well supported. So April went through a really intense challenge when her dad died a couple years ago. So I thought we might talk for a second about what that was like and how the family kind of impacted that process.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, you know, you don't necessarily know how you're going to react or how old you're going to be when things happen. Or, you know, my dad died suddenly, so it was very much of a shock. And so it wasn't something we had prepared for or prepared our kids for. And so all of a sudden we were all affected by it because he was a very integrated part of our family. We saw him multiple times a week. He had a seat at our Shabbat table every week. And so, but obviously it impacted me the most, I guess you could say. And so once the initial shock and kind of getting used to it, the first couple of weeks had kind of worn off for the family as a whole, I was still very much hurting and unable to like re-enter life as normal. And so the way our family rallied around me was just amazing. And I didn't know necessarily how to handle it, but I just let myself grieve. I really couldn't, it's just because I couldn't do anything. It wasn't out of like a philosophy or something. And so the kids knew that if they came downstairs and saw me crying, that they would just come over and give me a hug and maybe sit with me for a minute and ask, like, what was it that triggered your tears this time, Mom? And let me say whatever it was that had triggered me that time. Jeremy kind of by default took over the grocery shopping, all that, for like probably a couple months, and all the cooking, things like that I just was having a really hard time engaging. But it was such a gift to me to not feel guilty or not feel like I had to like shut that part of myself off in order to, I mean, I had to deal with some practical things with the kids and everything like that. But the way they all rallied around me and were able to face the challenge with me, I felt so supported, and I felt very understood, and they were patient with me. Like maybe they were like, okay, Mom, can we be done crying now? Because I want to go outside and play or whatever. But just the idea of the support, I think it actually helped me get through my grieving like deeper and fuller and more completely because I was able to enter in so strongly.
Yeah. This is a big deal, guys. When there's a personal crisis, it's really important as a family to not have a template that says you should get over it by this amount of time,
Right.
or that everybody's the same. I know a lot of you guys probably have faced a lot of crises. You might have gone through a miscarriage or lost a job or had a major move or any other serious thing that might have affected you personally more than maybe everyone else in the family. And it's really important for the family to listen to that person and to face that challenge together by really being there in a dramatic way, like really being willing to sort of let that person's process be the process that the family undergoes when a crisis has happened.
Yeah.
What's up, home roomies? So one of the biggest challenges that can really affect the family is a negative relationship pattern that just keeps repeating. And so one of the things that we like to really notice and really challenge each other or our kids to try to overcome are when those things are happening. And so I want to talk to Kyra for a minute. She is our youngest, and she started having a challenge with Sydney, our middleest, and then they kind of came up with a way for them to really change this relationship pattern through an activity they started doing together. So Kyra, you want to tell us a little bit about what that was?
Yeah, we started, so there's this, a series that she really likes, and so she decided to start reading it to me. So that really built our relationship back together.
And you guys are like all the time. How many books have you read together now, just in the last few months?
We're on our 5th book.
5th book. I think you only started like 3 or 4 months ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's like almost every minute they can be together and like be reading these books. You'll find them in different corners of the house. Sydney reading to Kyra and just sharing her huge passion for what's the series? It's the Percy.
Yeah, Percy Jackson.
Yeah, you liking it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. By the way, look at Kyra's amazing bike. You got to show off your bike there. So it's the same colors as the store, and so the sewing studio that April started with Kelsey and her mom, and so they head up the street, and Kyra's always riding her bike back and forth. You just got back. What's going on at the store right now?
Well, there's a private class going on, and Grandma's up there, and Emily's up there, and Kelsey's working on a sewing project. So.
Cool, awesome. So guys, make sure not to let those kind of repeated relational challenges just stay in those unhealthy patterns. Like, try to figure out a way to disrupt it, figure out a creative thing you can do together, or if you check out the activation guide, I'm going to give you kind of a step-by-step process for how to think about how to really set a new pattern when those things kind of take over. But that's a really big challenge that happens in relationships in every family, and there's really good ways to deal with it. Hey guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about what it looks like to create a household system that helps overcome a challenge. And while Kelsey and I were outside of the store down the street here, this is a true behind the scenes, there's a car fire, and so all the fire trucks are flying past here, and now there's smoke everywhere and the whole city is sort of coming out, but that's what's happening behind us. And we're not talking about that challenge, because that's not your challenge. We're talking about the challenges that happen in the home. By the way, this is Kelsey and April and her mom's store that they are behind us. I'll show you guys in a second these awesome display windows that are really cool that Kelsey and April came up with. But all that aside, I want to talk to Kelsey about household systems. So when you face a challenge as a family, one of the things that oftentimes will help is if you creatively come up with a system. And our kids are a little bit older, and so I wanted to maybe talk about a system we used when Kelsey was younger. So Kelsey, you want to tell us a little bit about that? What was the challenge, and how do we try to fix it?
Yes, so one of my favorite things in the world is checklists. I love checklists so much, and so when we got a little bit older and we were able to get ourselves ready for the day and ready for bed, Mom would still have to check in with us, like, did you brush your teeth? Did you do this? Did you do that? Or help us do it, even though we were old enough that we would have been capable of doing it by ourselves. And Mom also loves checklists, so we came up with the morning and evening routine checklists. So on one side it was morning, one side it was evening, and for some of us we would write it, but some of us were too young to read, so we would draw pictures of, like, go potty, pick out your outfit for the next day, put your dirty clothes in a dirty clothes basket, get your jammies on, make your bed, different things for getting ready and getting to bed. And so we would have that, and we laminated it, and so we could check it off. So there was like one column with all of the tasks and one column with the days of the week. So it was laminated, and we could check it off, and then every week we would wipe it off and start all over.
Yeah.
So
and the biggest reason we were doing this is because April and I were lazy, and we didn't want to put the kids, we didn't want to go through the process. Most of you guys aren't like us. You will spend, we've learned, an hour putting your kids down. But after a while, for us, we just become zombies around like.
And we were
8:30.
with you guys a lot throughout the day too. So
Yeah.
the evening wasn't our
true.
only time with you guys.
Yeah,
so.
we're good parents, guys. Right? Don't think that we don't know what we're doing. So we created this checklist, and it was awesome. The kids really became amazing, and just like we would literally say, "All right, time to go to bed," and then they would go through the checklist. I mean, Kelsey, because part of it is her temperament, right? She said that she loves checklists, and so this really helped her, and then she was able to sort of be a model for the other kids. But anyway, that's a system. So whatever's breaking down for you, whatever's causing you guys the most frustration, take the minute and really come up with systems. Now, in this month's activation guide, I have another sort of how to walk through that. And so how do you create systems? This process that is identify, discuss, and then solve. So I'll be putting that in the activation guide, the PDF that is going to come out in a little bit. But I want to give you guys a little behind the scenes. And Kelsey, tell us a little about these amazing windows that are
Okay, so we have our bench display. So my grandma made this body pillow for a bench cushion, and then this is a quilt that my aunt made and I quilted. And then it's spring, so we have like the umbrella in the rain and the watering can down here. And then in this window, we have this baby quilt that I made and I hand quilted. And we used to have a bunch of kits for it, and now they're all sold. But so it's just kind of springy and fun.
You can check out all that at justthestudio.com.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's where we're selling the stuff. But this is their sewing studio. So yeah, so guys, really important important to try to figure out how to solve those challenges before they become major problems for your family or your household. And so hopefully you guys will come up with some great solutions and some fun systems that fit you, not somebody else's system that might not fit you. You guys come up with a lot of your own, or tweak the ones that you can grab off the internet, or you can grab from homeroom, or some of the stuff we're going to share with you guys. But best of luck at overcoming those challenges. You can do it.